Views from the Bleachers podcast. Pat, the designer, CEO Haize, back at it again. Y'all really been rocking with us on the content out here. Shout out to y'all for showing love, man. Wanted to get this little quick episode in. It could go anywhere, bro. Because I mean, listen, this is, bro. Why is the world so angry, bro?
Bro, beef everywhere. Like we talked about it on the last episode, like with the whole Shannon Sharp thing. Like, it's really getting into podcast beef is about to be the next wave, bro. Like, it's about to be the next wave.
When do we get to the point? This sounds bad, but this is where all beef leads. When do we get to the point where somebody finally throws hands?
See, bro.
I'm talking major pods. Some of these lower ones, like the Adam 22 ones, have not to say. I guess they're pretty big podcasts, but like they've thrown hands on pods like that. But like one of these
people
major
also
ones.
threw dick inside his woman, and he was cool with it. So I mean, it's like he's living life differently than the rest of us, bro.
5'5". Yeah, bro. We got beef in the sports world though. Once again, JJ Redick calling out Doc Rivers has managed to piss off an entire NBA community somehow, which is kind of surprising because calling out Doc Rivers, I thought was the thing that most NBA people did. But him and Pat Bev going at it right now. Now, you brought this story to my attention where Pat Bev and him were kind of going back, and basically Pat Bev saying he gets cooked by James Harden. I saw the clip where
saved his career.
Doc Rivers saved his career. I saw the clip where JJ was on First Take losing his mind this morning, right? He's been losing it a little bit. Austin Rivers kind of cooked him a little bit too, if we want to be 100% honest. What is your whole takeaway on the Pat Bev versus JJ Redick beef? And JJ Redick going through some emotions here. What's happening with JJ right now?
Bro, I mean, listen, Doc Rivers has there's a lot of people that's frustrated with Doc Rivers. Don't get me wrong. I think JJ, who played under Doc Rivers, I think twice. Did he play under Doc Rivers on the 76ers? No, he never played on the
No.
JJ Redick was on the 76ers in
I don't think Doc was the coach then. I think that was
he
Brett
wasn't the
Brown.
coach. Okay. So, it just comes down to the thing where I think some fun, like when you see something similar. Doc Rivers took over the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
There's some doubt around, the impact he had there. And I think the initial thing that JJ Redick came out and said, I didn't really take too much issue with. But then you got Pat Bev, who we know Pat Bev, anytime he gets signed by a buyout by a team, he all of a sudden becomes the rider for that coach. Remember when he first came to the Bulls? He was riding for Billy Donovan got some shit.
Loved Billy.
Billy Donovan got some shit. And then even earlier this season, he's like, man, what are they doing? Billy Donovan's a good coach. That's just who Pat Bev is. Yeah. He rocks with his coaches. I feel it. But then you got Richard Jefferson in these tight ass jogging pants where he doesn't have the jogging pants stuffed in the socks. He got the high socks over, looking country as shit. He's jumping in on the beef. JJ Redick, one man holding it down. It took Pat Bev and Richard Jefferson to both try to come at the man, bro. Like, that's all I gotta say.
I think here's what's tough, right? First things first. I love how Austin Rivers said this. Austin Reeves. Oh, basketball, still the same thing. I love how Austin Rivers said this. Where he talked about, right, like,
that guy sucks.
Austin Rivers, that guy sucks. So, I love how Austin Rivers said, not that I'm taking up for my dad here, but because he's a grown man, he can fight his own fights. But listen, we want to talk about somebody being held accountable. Doc is always held accountable. Doc is going to be held accountable in this situation. This ain't Doc's fault. 46 games, I should say, into the season. And this Milwaukee team, while they did have a winning record, had a 117 defensive rating and a 121 offensive rating. They fired the coach that was there because they did not feel like he was doing a good enough job with the team where that team was going. The Milwaukee Bucks made that decision. The higher-ups made that decision. They end up moving on from him. Now you bring in Doc Rivers, who Doc basically was just like, I literally was like, what are y'all doing? What are we doing here? This is surprising. This is harder than I thought it'd be, blah, blah, blah. I'd love to see JJ Redick jump on a team halfway through the season where an entire system has been implemented and you got to make changes. And they come in on a team that just looked unwilling to play defense most of the season and go, all right, let's get these guys to play defense. The defensive rating went the right direction. Now the offensive rating is falling completely off. Now all of a sudden they can't shoot the basketball anymore. They can't score anymore. And here's my question. with the Milwaukee Bucks right now. And this all goes to Doc Rivers getting blamed for all of this. We can blame Doc for every other situation if we want to. Fine. I don't know if he takes all the blame, but sure, we can blame him for every other situation. But this is where I side with Pat Bev on this. Doc Rivers has been there 10 games. The defense has improved, and the offense has fallen off a cliff. And it looks like, for some reason, the second head coach that has come in there with the Damian Lillard and Giannis situation, where the simplest answer is run pick and roll with these two guys. It's the easiest thing in the world to figure out. Somebody don't want to run pick and roll. Somebody doesn't want to run a system. Somebody just wants the ball in their hand and wants to go to the bucket and do what they do. I think Giannis is pushing back on these coaches coming in here and saying, hey, look, I'm not finna just be a roller. You're not finna turn me into the guy that's just diving downhill and dunking on people, even though that's all he does anyway. I want to start with the ball in my hand because why? Like, dog, I would think that would be the easiest play to design for a guy who shoots the three ball from the logo and a guy who's unstoppable going towards the bucket. And yet we see it at a minimal rate on the Milwaukee Bucks in the first 46 games and this game. Some questions aren't being answered here because Adrian Griffin, struggle coach, sure. But Doc Rivers getting blamed for something that was already broken, that's crazy, JJ.
Well, I think that it's when you look at the Milwaukee situation, like, yeah, you come in, it's difficult for an interim head coach that was already on the staff to take over midseason, right? I think the last time we've seen the coach really take over midseason and have some success was Jacques Vaughn.
Who just got fired.
But that's again, Steve Nash was the head coach there. He was absolutely fucking trash. So, you took some things, you improved it. So, yeah, that's I don't think anybody's taking away from the difficulty of what a coach who comes in midseason has to face, and especially when you weren't even in the building, you're the new permanent head coach, and now you're trying to salvage a season that's more than halfway over at the point that you basically, when you took it over. Yeah, listen, that's a tall test for anybody, any coach. Do not get me wrong. And that's why I did say that I think that the JJ Redick thing comes down to him seeing similar things that triggered him from when he was the player under Doc Rivers, rather than it just being about what the Milwaukee Bucks are going through right now.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, I get it. Like, didn't they had some beef last year, right, where Doc was talking about the LA thing, and he talked about kind of he basically talked about how some players didn't want to be there in the bubble and didn't want to actually operate in the bubble and why they end up losing in the finals. And then JJ took exception to it, saying that, well, I wanted to go out there and win. I thought we were competing for something. I didn't think that we lost. But then I heard Lou, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Lou Will on what's Jeff Teague's podcast, right? And he was talking about basically how when he got suspended, I think he had lost somebody in the bubble that was close to him, lost a family member or a friend. Pat Bev had lost his brother, I think, during the bubble, or somebody that was really close to him. Like, they were dealing with actual things and they ended up losing. And so people's minds were on things other than basketball. And so when Pat Bev defends Doc Rivers, who Pat Bev has now been with Doc Rivers twice, right? Like, he's been with Doc in LA, he's been with Doc in now Milwaukee, maybe more than twice.
Yeah, he would have been in Philly too. When Pat Bev was in Philly, Doc would have been the coach.
No, because where'd Pat get bought out from before? Pat was in Philly, but Pat was
he went from Philly to Minnesota, right?
Was it Philly to Minnesota? Was Doc the coach then?
Yeah,
that feels right. That feels right. So it's one of those situations to me where JJ took exception for that. And now all of a sudden it's the F Doc Rivers at every turn situation. And I just feel like this, if you're blaming the Bucks right now on Doc Rivers, I'm sorry, bro. You've had two coaches in there with two of the best players in the world and you can't figure it out. That's not Doc Rivers' problem. There's something going on with the guys that are on the court. And I really think I think Giannis is kind of done with Milwaukee, dog. I think he's to a point where he's like, yeah, y'all went and got me Dame, but y'all didn't get me what I wanted in other aspects. So here it is. Dame was y'all trying to save face.
By the way, I was wrong. He was just in fucking Philly this year. I don't know why that felt like years ago. So
no, I thought there wasn't. That's his first stint in Philly.
That was first. Yeah, I thought he was in Philly previous time, prior time before that. Nah, he's been in Houston, Clippers, Minnesota, Lakers, Bulls, Philly, and now Milwaukee.
That's interesting. That is interesting. I don't know, bro. Like, this, it's one of those things to me where, like, this feels bitter. And I respect Pat Bev for standing up for his coach. I love the fact that JJ Redick could come back at it with the analytics too, right? You said he
so he said that he said basically that he got torched by Pat Bev and JJ Redick. I love it when he pulled
by James Harden.
Oh yeah, James Harden. And he 289 matchup at half court matchups. Over that time, James Harden went 21 and 56 shooting. That's 31% from the field, 42.9% effective field goal shooting percentage, and 0.94 points per isolation against JJ Redick. Basically, when he was isolated against JJ Redick defended him pretty damn well.
I would love to know how many of those 56 plays JJ passed him off to a better defender because of pick and roll. Because how is James Harden playing?
Well, this is isolation. So
this is isolation for sure. Isolation. But how was James Harden playing most of those times, right? Like, you
can't like, don't get me wrong. James Harden completely disappears in the playoffs, but you got to give some of the credit to his defenders on him as well. You got to give some of the credit. No,
I'm just saying, right? Like in ISO, like when does ISO stop? Is this saying that this is ISO up until the shot, or is this saying that this is ISO up until somebody, right? Like,
no, this is isolation up until the shot. So this is him guarding him through the whole possession.
All right, like I guess.
But it's cool. Like
I mean, that's a cool stat to throw. But here's the thing, right? I watched the series. James Harden did cook. How many times with that type of stat, right? Yes, while you're 1-on-1 on James Harden, how many times were you passing off of James Harden because James Harden was so good that they didn't want you defending him? How many times?
Again, but that's why this is isolation. So
I get it.
It's much like the stat where people go to, well, Donovan Mitchell scored 71 points on Zach LaVine. It's like, well, Zach LaVine actually only guarded him 4 possessions that whole game. Like,
I hear that, but I'm saying, right, like, how many times was it? Like, that's 21 for 56 for the series, right?
Yeah.
Right. So 21 for 56 for the series. How many times was JJ Redick out of the game at the end of those games? Because I remember that because of how poor he was defensively. Like, if JJ was cooking, and maybe that's his beef. Maybe JJ was like, I was clamping Harden and y'all took me off, and we could have won that game. Like, maybe that's his beef. But I remember JJ Redick getting mixed up on some of those defensive possessions, and you just went, ooh, we don't want to see it.
JJ Redick is absolutely terrible in pick and roll.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like you got Clint Capella at that point. That would have been in Houston. Clint Capella coming up, running a screen for you, and you're getting screened off of it. And you have no idea where to go on Clint Capella, right? Like, so that there is the aspect of, yes, your numbers 1-on-1 versus James Harden with the analytics are great. How many coaches in the NBA do you think would have let that matchup ride out through the entire game?
No, you gotta coach the game. Come on,
you know what I mean? Like,
you gotta coach the game.
That's why it's like, yes, the numbers look amazing, but come on, JJ, you wasn't like what Jordan say when he was talking about Charles Barkley coming out the guard. Who's gonna guard this guy? I guard him. He got hands out. He's doing everything technically correct. Like, that wasn't you, bro. Remember, like, you're supposed to teach us the game. I love the analytics. I love the numbers that attribute to it. And yes, 1-on-1, I'm sure that those matchups looked like you end up winning with the numbers, but I would love to run through those 56 plays. Right? Is there help that came over?
Technology to do it.
We might be able to take that. Can we take it back that far on the website?
I think so. I think it goes back.
Need to run through that.
I think it goes back to 2010, if I'm not mistaken.
Because this is my thing, right? Does that stat? Yes, it is in isolation, but does that stat account for help coming over late?
Well, no, but I mean that's part of basketball.
No, I get you, but what I'm saying is, right, if I'm guarding James Harden, especially then, that's MVP Harden. I got JJ Redick straight up. He drives to the cup. He gets into a shooting motion, and I'm gonna keep somebody shading over just to help JJ.
Bro, I feel like you're trying to find the most. Like, you do this sometimes when you try to find the most way to back somebody. Like, Nick, James Harden did not cook JJ Redick. He cooked the Clippers. Absolutely, he cooked them several times.
Hey, listen. All I'm saying is JJ playing all 56 of these possessions straight up.
Those specific, the stats that he pulled are isolations. So yes,
isolation.
That is, he guarded him that whole
that's
possession.
What I'm saying. But
there are probably another 126 possessions.
No, but what I'm saying is, right, with that stat, does that account for Who was on the team at that point? Hey, Pat Bev. Does that account for Pat Bev coming over to try and help you as the shots going up? Does that account? Yeah, I mean, like I love the numbers and the analytics of it, but there are the aspects of basketball that those numbers aren't going to take into account where, maybe somebody's coming off of the screen and they help over the screen, try and get a hand up. Like, we watched the series. I remember James Harden torching that entire team for, what was it, 4 games straight? They were up 3-1 on them, wasn't it?
I don't remember that.
Wasn't that a 3-1 series that Doc ended up blowing?
Oh yeah, it was a 3-1 series. They lost.
So he torched them 4 games straight, pretty much, and we sitting here like, oh, in isolation, I can do it. Come on, dog, like stop.
Well, you got to look at it as the pride thing, as an NBA player, and I agree with you. As an NBA player, though, the pride that they're looking at it is, all right, bet, but when you owe me 1-on-1, because that's how players go to. When you're on me 1-on-1, you didn't get it off on me.
Right.
So
that's crazy. But no. That was wild. But no, I don't know, bro. Like, I love how JJ breaks down the game. I think he's really good at it. I think he's an amazing analyst.
Yeah, and he's going to go in the Hall of Fame as a Hall of Fame analyst. Watch.
Oh, yeah, probably. That feels wrong. But still, yeah, probably. And I love that he's getting into TV now because he's bringing the numbers into the game. I just pray that there's always somebody that takes in the actual basketball numbers versus the analytics. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. As much as the analytics speak to everything in basketball, what is the number one thing that matters at the end of the day in basketball?
Who won?
Having the best player in the world. All your analytics, like this ain't baseball, right? We've seen teams win World Series in baseball. How many teams have won NBA championships in basketball? I would say the Miami Heat probably got closest last year by getting to the finals, literally by using the defensive analytics to expose most of the teams on the way there. Figuring out that, like, hey, nobody on this team can go left. When they go left, they turn the ball over at, what was it? It was like a 15% higher clip going left than they did going right. Like, that's the one time that, at least in my mind, I remember a team just going, this is the analytics of it. This is how it works. And this is how you get to the NBA finals.
It's fair.
We don't even really see that work in football. Technically, all the analytics teams lost on the way to the Super Bowl.
Well, and that's a really good thing to point out too, as well, is that at some point we need to have the conversation. Like, analytics are great. Don't get me wrong. They can help you. They can help you figure out how things fit together and things like that. But analytics, the things that they do miss out on is the thing like you're bringing up is because we can have all the analytics all day that tells us in isolation JJ Redick guarded James Harden well, but it's like, okay, but you were down 3-1. Like, there's no analytic for that. The fact of the matter is you're down 3-1 and they came back and kicked your ass.
The analytics says you had at that point, a 96% chance to win the series.
Exactly. Like, and you still failed. So it's like, I get what you're saying on that, but at the same time, Pat Bev also got to realize too, like, hey man,
he was on that team.
He was on that team too, that brother. Like, so what are we talking about?
Pat is talking about it. That's how y'all got cooked over there. You was there too.
But wait. Was Pat Bev on the team then, or was he on the Rockets? Because he played for both teams.
I don't know. The 3-1 year, you got to check. I know he was on a year where they did lose a 3-1 series, but that 3-1 year versus the Rockets, you got to check.
Let's see.
That would be interesting. Maybe Pat's sticking up over here.
What year was that? Do you know off the top of your head?
Ooh. Clippers. That's tough because there's so many that you can go to.
What year was that? Was that 2015?
Hey, bro, it's been a long time, bro.
Jesus Christ. No, Pat Bev was on the Rockets then. That's why he's talking that shit.
Shout out Pat Bev.
Shout out to Pat Bev.
I don't know, bro. Like, that's one of those. Is that bubble year? No,
that's not bubble, bro. Come on, that was like 5 years before the bubble.
No, I'm saying like when they lost that 3-1 lead, 2015 don't feel right.
Was hard. Bro, it was 2015.
Yeah, I guess that is that long ago. That's crazy.
That's crazy. It feels like yesterday, bro.
That's insane. Clippers versus Houston Rockets playoffs.
Yeah, that was 2015.
That's 2015. Yeah, y'all lost the next 3 games.
We're 9. That was 9 years ago.
119, 107, 113, 100. Y'all didn't even compete. You didn't even compete. Come on now. Like what? Like, and I think here's the thing about analytics, and like we said, I'm a big analytics guy when it comes to stuff like this, right? Where you can sit there and figure out defensive matchups. But the NBA is such a different sport. Analytics are going to work more towards most people, but your analytics mean nothing towards, right? Like that's why I get why Charles Barkley doesn't vibe with analytics. Because
Charles Barkley doesn't like numbers.
Well, here's the thing. That's true. Here's the thing, though. He's a player analytics didn't work for. He's a player that you can sit there and you can put your defensive metrics out there and you can say Chuck struggles to shoot here when he goes left 15% of the time and blah, blah, blah. And then you'll look up at the end of the game and you'll be like, how you get 42? How we did everything the analytics said. What happened there? Like there's certain players that what are LeBron's analytics? Amazing everywhere? Because I'm going to tell you what, when you watch LeBron, he looks pretty amazing everywhere. Right? The analytics may mean more now that he's slowing down and getting older. And you can say, oh, he's not as quick to get to this shot right here. And this is career-wise. Yeah, it didn't matter when he was being LeBron, though, when he was being the best player in the world, though. So I get the analytics, but I think that is numbers running the game to me is a place for baseball. I don't really think it applies. Maybe hockey. But I don't feel like it applies as much in very many other sports.
I can agree with that.
So I love that JJ's going at everybody. But this week felt a little too emotional, though.
I mean, clearly he has some beef with Doc.
It's personal. That was personal.
Listen, like I said, I think every celebrity beef should end in getting in the ring. Celebrity boxing match.
You want to see Doc Rivers versus JJ? I ain't gonna lie. I don't know how much Chicago left in Doc.
I was about to say, Doc ain't lived in Chicago in almost 4 years.
I don't know how much Chicago left in Doc. I don't know. JJ might give Doc hands.
Bro, that would be a story.
Can we do a WWE match?
No, because
what? Can we do a WWE match?
You want to see Doc Rivers take a bump? Like
no. The only reason I say we get a WWE match, take a bump is crazy. Only reason, I know what it means, but it sounds bad.
Wrestling terms, y'all.
Wrestling terms. It's like, why is Doc doing cocaine? But that hair sometimes looks like it though. But I think WWE would be better because Doc would be getting beat like a lot of the legends do, where it's like, oh, I don't know what to do. And then you would see like Austin and Pat Bev just come out of nowhere like a chair.
That's crazy. The Austin Rivers with the run in, that's crazy.
But hold on. Here's the question. Does JJ have Shannon Sharp on his side in this fight?
Ooh. I don't know. I think Shannon Sharp stays out of this one, brother.
Shannon Sharp got his own beefs to deal with. He got to fight Kai Cenat coming through like Hornswoggle.
Now maybe he can get Stephen A. Smith to run in with him, but the problem is
Stephen A. just got crossed.
We just saw Stephen A. He didn't even get crossed by Jesus. Like there's nobody out there. Like you remember the time that Vince McMahon? I know we're not supposed to be mentioning his name. He got erased from the history book. But you remember the time he tore 2 of his quads by just stepping in the ring and he finished the promo sitting down. That's what just happened to Stephen A. Smith. Like it's bad,
bro. After the Cena fight, that man jumped in the ring, tore both quad. Fam, why has his whole family done that though? You know, Shane did that at the last WrestleMania. 2 WrestleManias ago.
Doesn't even surprise me. Like what?
Remember when Snoop Dogg was in there? Snoop Dogg was in the ring. Shane tore both his quads.
Why the whole family got weak quads, bro? Like what's happening?
Steroids. Steroids. Come on.
It's like the Ball brothers with their whole lower body injuries. It's like what's going on here, bro?
Hey man, you got to stop roiding though. You got them fine them roids, man. You got them fine them roids.
Day, y'all. Stop fucking skipping leg day, y'all. Come on, man.
They legs are massive, though. I don't think they skipped leg day. I think they got help on leg day. That's not a pause, dog. We talking wrestling right there. Like, is that pause?
It didn't sit well with me. I'm not gonna lie. He's probably not a pause. Maybe this is just a me thing.
About that one. You talking about wrestling, bro?
He got big legs, bro. Like, what are we talking about?
Would you prefer me to say he's got massive quads? That sounds crazy. Guys got massive quads. What?
They're huge.
He got huge quads. He's a beautiful dog, and he died like a dog. Hey man, that's a wrap for us on this one, man. We kept it short and sweet, but we really just wanted to break all of this down. Oh wait, actually, I should bring this to the podcast. I just thought about this topic because we talked about it on Locked On NBA. We ain't got to go. And Nick just texted me about this. You know, George Hill has a ranch in Texas that is 1,000 acres. That has or it's like 980 acres. It has over 1,000 exotic animals on it.
George Hill?
George Hill, the basketball player, has 1,000 different kinds of animals on it. Zebras, hippos, bro. And they said he's a big hunter. So he goes on like the safari hunts and stuff. They say he got hippo heads on his wall. He got like lion heads on his wall. And so I don't even have a question for this, but why does that feel so weird that George Hill got that much money? What did he invest in, bro? Now he did make I think he said $113 million in his time in the NBA, which feels just as wrong.
Listen, bro, this is, you know what? We should have talked about this. This is all beef episode as well. Well, outside of the George, that's strange. That's just weird. But I mean, listen, we just talked
George Hill got beef with animals.
You're gonna retire and you're gonna get your farm and you're gonna have 12 Akitas. Like, I just don't like.
That's not retirement though. That's life. That's life plans, and that's on 3 possible acres of land if we get the piece of land that we want. And we gonna do the Mornings on the Acres, bro. That's gonna be lit. Now, 12 Akitas a little different though. The only problem I got, it wasn't 12. What I said 6. 6 Akitas. They might have puppies. And another business, but 6 Akitas, right? And here's the issue that pops up with that many Akitas: the food bill is gonna be so high.
It's gonna be ridiculous, bro.
I'm talking about, because I give my dog. I get my one blue food. That's $70 every 2.5 weeks.
Bro, you'd be better off just throwing a pig out there and letting him eat the pig live, bro. Like, you just
my fear with that would be the pig would befriend them, and I got a pig running the pack out here. Like,
that's one thing. Akitas are vicious, don't get me wrong, but they befriend the most random of animals, bro. So the first Akita that we had, my kids got a rabbit, and when I tell you this damn Akita loved this rabbit, bro, like the rabbit, you know how like dogs crawl up, they lay in a ball.
Yeah.
The fucking rabbit would be in the middle of the Akita, like, yeah, let me get some of this warmth, brother, and just chilling. It's weird, bro.
Meanwhile, I'm terrified anytime like Coda walks in the room and he moved too quick. I'm like, who did what? What's going on? What happened back there? Why you? Oh, he back there right now. He listening to this whole thing.
He's like, why you telling my business, bro? I'm gonna bite your ass right now.
I make sure people don't climb through the window, man.
But in talking about beef, like, you want to throw this in here real quick, bro?
Let's do it.
Scottie Pippen, Luke Longley, Horace Grant going.
Are we doing that over here too, bro?
We might as well, bro. Like,
we talked about it on Locked On Bulls, but now we can talk about it without the restraints of Locked On, bro. Hey, Scottie heard you. I'm sorry, Scottie heard you. Scottie, get out of here. We talking about something else, Scottie. We talking about something else.
Bro, I'm still sitting here looking at and thinking about this shit. Like, these niggas is really going on tour on a fuck Jordan tour, bro. Like, it's crazy.
Bro, they're going on an entire tour about how Michael Jordan ruined their lives, basically. Even though he's the only reason any of them are who they are. Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. I will recant that remark there. But I mean, dog, like, how are we and I get it, right? Things come to a head and you get irritated because of money matters and stuff like that. Like, I almost understood why Scottie was upset, because the whole Last Dance thing was supposed to be a way for all of them to make money.
Yeah.
And how it ended up turning out was Michael ended up buying the tapes from the NBA, and Michael made all of the money, right? So I almost can understand it from that standpoint of being upset by it.
Well, that's actually not true. I know that there's a lot of thought.
Well, that's what Scottie has said. The issue was,
right? But that was actually debunked. Now they did give Jordan more input. He is listed, I believe, as a producer, but it's still owned by the person who originally put the documentary. Jordan actually owns none of The Last Dance.
I mean, okay, I can deal with that, but like, I mean, are we saying that Mike didn't have final say on what?
Oh no, that's not what I'm saying. That's what I said.
Okay, I was about to say. I was like, come on, dog.
What I'm saying. I'm just saying that he owns it. I'm just debunking that. Oh, best believe Jordan was probably in the editing room. Like, I need you to take that out, bro.
Hey, bro, all the way in the editing room. Hey, brother, that part where you talk. Here's how I know this, right? Here's how I know this. I don't know if many people know this. Y'all know in New York, there's a dunk called the dunk. Everybody, this is common knowledge to everybody, right? John Starks.
Yeah, I would hope everybody knows.
I would hope so, right? So there's a dunk called the dunk, where John Starks comes into the hole down the right side. He dunks on, who's at the front? Maybe Horace. I want to say Horace, Michael, and somebody else is there. But Michael's kind of like the trailer in the picture, right? And so when they come out with John Starks' card, John Starks says, I want the dunk. That's what I am. I dunked on the whole Bulls team. Yeah, all of them. I want the dunk. When the picture comes out, they removed Michael from the picture. This is in 92, 93?
Do you know what it took to remove somebody from a picture off film? Like now people think of it like you can go into Canva, you can go into Photoshop, whatever, you can remove it in 2 seconds.
Bro, I just made this picture on the side in 2 seconds, literally.
Exactly. Back then, you would have had to take the negative, made a copy of it. You would have then had to basically, I use bleach out. It's not actually using bleach. It's not bleach, yeah. But you would have had to do that to get that part out of it's a very intricate process back then to get people out of film.
And then you would have had to put that on a card and mass produce it. That way. Like, bro, it's wild to think about the lengths that Michael would go through. And I get it, right? It's the Jordan brand. It's it's
just like LeBron when Jordan Crawford dunked on him, he got all the tapes removed from. He took everybody's phone and deleted the footage in that gym. So
that facts?
Yeah, you don't remember that? And when Jordan Crawford was in high school, he dunked on LeBron.
We talk about Jordan Crawford?
Jordan Crawford, not Jamal Crawford. Jordan Crawford.
Hey, listen, I would delete those tapes too. That guy sucks.
He sucks.
Standing beat for my Locked On Bulls.
Bro, do you remember the first 3 months of us having Locked On Bulls?
Bro, we had beef coming from everywhere, bro.
We beefed with Joe Cowley, Jordan Crawford.
It was crazy, bro. It was a crazy time. It was a crazy time, bro. Everybody, and you know what? I'm glad we went through it, because if we hadn't have dealt with all of that, we probably wouldn't be as good as we are today when people try to come sideways at our heads.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find this picture, bro. Like I know this card exists because I had it. I had the card as a kid, and it literally said "The Dunk" by Starks. And I never had Jordan in the picture. Oh, it's right here. Oh, yeah. So this is somebody that got a picture of the card. Hold up. I got to throw these on here. All right, so here's the dunk, right? Jordan clearly in this mug. Oh my God, look at his face. That's Horace. They got to be Horace right there.
Yeah.
Right? Clearly in that mug. And then here is the card. This is the exact card. I have it somewhere that I have.
That's crazy, bro.
And why they got Cartwright in the back?
Again,
they just left him in the picture. He's like, no, you put somebody else in that mug.
Cartwright, put me in there. Why am I in it?
I don't know if he was in the play or if they swapped out. If they swapped out just the entire players, they put a different player in there, dog. Dog, that level of like, nah, you're not gonna catch me lacking at any point is crazy. Is crazy. There's gotta be Jason Tatum has to have a card.
Original. So Cartwright was actually in it. But that again shows the precision that it would have had to get Michael Jordan out of there.
But I think
and then keep in mind, so Jordan's here blocking that part of the crowd.
Yeah.
They did some listen, bro. Like shout out to whoever edited that shit back in the day. They put in some work for that shit.
They put the crowd back in it. Look at that. That's crazy. They put the crowd back in it.
Bro, that's wild, bro.
There's a hot dog vendor in there.
So you know what they did? They took another picture. They must have had another angle
else, yeah,
from a different part in the game. They're like, "I'll bet this overlaps perfect." That's crazy,
bro. So I say all that to say, I absolutely can see Jordan being very, very petty with all of the footage and saying, "Nope, make this. Nope, I don't like that he said that." Because wasn't there a thing where it was like he used there was a bunch of stuff that people said that he wouldn't use, right? Isaiah said that.
Yeah.
When he was talking about, I met the criteria to be selected. I met the criteria. I don't know why I didn't get I met the criteria. There's never been a criteria, Isaiah, but I met it. I met that criteria.
Oh man.
That's funny, bro. Hey man, let me ask you this. Since at this point we're just riffing now. The fact that Stephen A. Smith blames LeBron James
for the dunk contest?
The dunk contest. Do you agree with that?
I agree with it in the sense that when Jordan, because that was the Dwight Howard, Nate Robinson.
We go to full beef episode,
right? That was the Nate Robinson, Dwight Howard dunk contest. I believe. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. When he
which was great,
and then he was in the excitement. He says, "I'm putting my name into the hat for next year's dunk contest." And then never did. Didn't say anything. Next year came around. Don't ask him about that fucking dunk contest. Like, but
he did the same thing with the dunk contest Jordan did with that picture.
Exactly. But I would say this is that I don't blame him for what the dunk contest was because he's not responsible for other men deciding not to be in the dunk contest or give their best or whatever. But I do think that had LeBron entered a dunk contest over his career, keep in mind, he is this new class now coming in. He's their Jordan.
Yes.
I think it would have held a different level of prestige if who many people's GOAT is now they would have been able to say that he was in a dunk contest and won it. I think that would have changed the perception, but you can't blame him for that because at the end of the day, you still got all these years. Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine put on amazing dunk contests.
Yeah,
but again,
and they keep getting worse.
Exactly, and those aren't household names. But I do think had LeBron got in one, it would have definitely helped kept the dunk contest at a certain level of prestige. But again, you can't blame him for that either. I don't think you can blame. You could say he could have helped it, but I can't blame him for the way that it went.
You know what? I'll push back on them not being household names because I think the only reason that most people know Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, maybe Aaron Gordon a little different now, right? Because he's won a championship and stuff like that. But I think the reason most people know Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon is only because of the dunk contest.
I agree with that, but like
I think they are household names because
they're
of
household
that
names for basketball people. But for example, my 82-year-old grandma knows who LeBron James is. She don't know who the fuck Zach LaVine is.
I agree with that, but I think when most people talk about the dunk contest, you talk about LaVine versus Gordon.
True, but
that's what was the elite.
And by household name, I don't mean household within the dunk contest. I mean worldwide. LeBron is a brand at this point. People know LeBron who have watched 5 basketball games their whole entire life. That's kind of what I meant by
the only reason, and here's, I have 2 opinions on this. One, the only reason I do agree with this is because I think that LeBron James not doing it gave everything LeBron did gave everybody else the excuse to do it.
That's true.
Right? LeBron ends up going to Miami. It gave everybody in the league the excuse to go, well, if LeBron can do it, I can do it. Like LeBron left his team. LeBron the best player in the world. I can leave my team. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right? Like, look, I think that actually plays into the years that we haven't seen a star in the dunk contest. Because LeBron didn't have to do it. LeBron didn't want to do it. Right? Kobe did it. When Kobe did it, it was like, oh, I got to do it. Dwight Howard. And people don't think about this, right? When Dwight Howard did the dunk contest, Dwight Howard was one of the best basketball players in the world.
He was the MVP candidate. Like for a while there, it was literally Dwight Howard was like the second or third best player in the league.
Yes.
And people forget about that.
And so, like, you think about, right, like, it was years of people doing that. And when Dwight did it, that was the reason why LeBron was like, oh, we in on this. Or was it the Dwight year or was it a down year? Was it the second Nate year?
No, I think it was because I know it was a great. Let's see.
Because wasn't there one where it was like Nate versus Serge Ibaka, and we were like, all right, guys, what are we doing? Like, I remember that. I remember Serge Ibaka doing it one year, but I don't know, bro. Like that, the dunk contest being that. Now, I will also say this. I think all-star games have passed us by.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if, do you think, well, I guess you're what? You're 8 years older than me? 7 years older than me? Something like that?
Yeah.
Was the dunk contest or was the all-star game a major event when you were an adult? Because it was always fun when I was a kid. Like when you first, like when you're 19, 20 years old, was the dunk contest? Because I remember for me, it was like, I loved the game. I still loved watching the all-star game. And I'm like, well, I also was a kid at that point.
I mean, as an adult, yeah, because I mean, my adult years still were the years of the Nate Robinson Magic. I mean, Dwight Howard dunk contest, right? Like, there's another one around that time too.
Like, here's
really
the thing:
good.
Derrick Rose win in 2010, right? 2010, 2009.
Wait, dunk contest?
No, not dunk contest. I'm just saying all-star game in general.
Okay, yeah.
So I think D Rose win in 2010. In 2010, I was 14. So at that point, you're a full-grown man getting ready.
I had 2 kids by then. That's
right,
crazy.
Exactly, right? So you're an adult. So like, but for me, that's one of my favorite all-star games because D Rose was in it.
Yeah.
Is that like an all-star game that sticks out in your mind?
Yeah, it did but again, that's personal because I'm a huge Bulls fan. But here's what I'll say is, like, to me as an adult, I'm sorry, I was thinking about dunk contests. As an adult, I'll say this: the all-star games were interesting to me in the second half. You remember, because it used to always be the second half of all-star games.
Yeah,
is when the competition kicked in. And that's when it was. So I would sit down and watch it, but it would never be like this thing where it's like everything got to stop unless one of my players was in it. The years that Derek made it and Joe made it, those were years that I had to watch. But yeah, All-Star. The funny thing is, and I know people talk about it, but the best part of All-Star weekend was always Saturday. The All-Star game was the dunk contest. It was never that the All-Star game was the pinnacle of that, at least not for me.
I would agree with that. Yeah. I think the things you always remember are the dunk contest.
Exactly.
Those are the most memorable parts of it. But I also think that the all-star games used to have an allure as, okay, I'm going to stay up and watch this. Like, I ain't going to lie. When they got to like 140 points in the third quarter, the only reason I even had the game still on is because I had forgot it was on my computer. Because it wasn't on the main screen. I knew I had to talk about it, so I had to watch it. I had to see if they were going to break 200, so I kept it going. I looked down, it was like 205, and I was like, oh, look, they broke 200. That's sad. But then I'm also trying to think, right, is this not for me? Am I not the market anymore?
Yeah, but see, and that's kind of what I brought up to you on Locked On as well, is that I think at this point, like, the All-Star game is probably more entertaining for kids and casuals.
Yeah.
Than us the basketball heads. We don't look at an all-star game and get anything out of it. We don't look at it and be like, God damn, this all-star game. But for kids that, especially this age, that do just want to see the scoring, that do just want to see the half-court shots, do just want to see dunks, it's probably the most amazing. You got to see Dame Lillard basically do whatever he wanted for 30 minutes.
And that's what made me, I'm not gonna lie, there was some kid in there, Dame knocked down a big three. And there was some kid in there, like, in the stand, he was losing his mind. Not a big three, but he knocked down the half court three, right? Mm-hmm. And the kid lose. Oh my God, I've never seen this. And I was looking at that and I was like, maybe I'm just not the demo no more. Maybe I aged out of being the demo. But I do. Here's the thing. I do remember my uncles watching the dunk contest with me and being amazed by it.
Yeah.
Zach LaVine versus Aaron Gordon, they was amazed. 3-point contest, man. I think back then it was a little more amazing. I'm less amazed by the 3-point contest. I don't know, man. But it's I don't know. I do agree with Stephen A. as far as the LeBron thing. I do agree that like LeBron made a lot of things okay that I don't think the next generation will change.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like maybe one day Ant does. Maybe somebody comes to him with an absorbent amount of money.
I mean, hell, Ant was the one who just literally said like, what he's basically saying, like, this isn't going to be competitive. It's like, that's your next generation.
But see, this is what it's going to take. And the problem is they're all in the West. You going to need one of them young dogs in the East to talk trash to them. And nobody's going to do it. Tyrese Halliburton not going to do it with his 7 voices. Did you see that, dog?
Bro, that was crazy.
Did you see it? Why does he do that?
But he said he doesn't realize he does. It's like an involuntary thing.
That's like, what is it? Is it 2 people in there? 3 people? Like, what's going on with that?
Are you saying Halliburton has a lot of people in his throat? Is that what you just said?
Listen, or in his head, one or the other. Take it however you want. But bro, that man said, yeah, I just really feel like when I'm going down the basketball court, I could just. I was like, what the? Who was the Urkel in there? Why was Urkel in there?
But Pat McAfee's reaction to that was fucking hilarious. He said,
you got a couple.
You have 2 voices.
I thought it was the mics at first. You got 2 voices there. I don't know, man. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of Views. This episode went way longer than we expected, which is exactly how this show is supposed to go. Hit that like button if you haven't done so. Subscribe to the page if you're new to the channel. Appreciate you guys for showing love. Follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Haize, what you got for him, man? What you going out with?
I mean, let's see how this Fuck Jordan tour goes, because me and Pat may have to pull up and be in the building.
Bro, we might have to pull up to that event, bro.
Yeah.
We talked.
It comes stateside, we may have to pull up.
Bro, if it comes to America, we may have to go where they're at. Like if they do it in Topeka, Kansas, we may just have to take a trip to Topeka's a little white.
As long as it's not Cleveland, I'm down.
Since you said that, it's gonna be Cleveland.
And I'm not gonna go.
Why did you?
You can record it.
No, you gotta come with me to Cleveland. I can't go to Cleveland by myself, bro. I've done that once.
Take kid with you.
No. I bring too many jean jackets.
With the matching pants.
Bro. Hey, y'all stay safe out there, man. Follow us on everything. We got to get a Views from the Bleachers Twitter now, don't we?
Yeah, probably.
We don't have a Views from the Bleachers Twitter. We're going to get a Views from the Bleachers Twitter cracking. We starting an entirely new podcast, man. Y'all stay safe out there. Also, this is going to be up on the audio side as well. We getting all the audio up for Views. So tune in with us over on Apple, Spotify, wherever you find it, man. Y'all stay safe out there, y'all. Peace.